Hi, this is Asian Runner, and today I'm going to be talking about the bad and the ugly features of the Nike Air Zoom Tempo X%. Hi, I'm Asian Runner, and I'm going to be talking about all the bad features of the Nike Air Zoom Tempo Next%. Now, I have done a first impressions review as well as a runner's review where I talk about the good points of this shoe, and these are both linked in the descriptions below. But this video is dedicated to all of the bad features about this shoe and just the things that I didn't like. Now, the first thing is that I'm not being sponsored by Nike. I paid for these shoes with my own money, and no one is reviewing this video prior to it going up. So this is my honest opinion and my honest review of the bad features about this shoe. Now, the first thing about this shoe is that you really don't know what you're going to get until you actually run in them over a long period of time. Now, in the shop, you're going to try these pairs of shoes on for size. You're going to feel like that, sure, they're really, they feel bouncy, you feel like you got the energy return, but you don't really get the feel for this shoe until you hit those longer kilometers in those longer runs. And I found that when I put this shoe on, it felt really awesome when I started off in the shoe. However, it wasn't until later on did I really feel like I had really gotten into the shoe, broken them in, and really got them to the level of performance that I thought that they were going to be. And not everyone's going to have this experience, especially if you are in the everyday kind of runner category, or if you're in the casual runner category where you might only run, let's say, 1-2 times per week or on the weekends. Where you don't necessarily do a lot of speed work, you may not be training for a race. This is not really the shoe for you. This is not really an everyday trainer. It's not really the type of shoe that you would buy just as a one-off, or if you only run 1 or 2 times per week, because this is a specially designed shoe for that speed work, the tempo run, as well as those races as well. The next thing that's bad about the shoe is that they market this as a training companion to the Alpha Flies. Now, the Alpha Flies, you know, is the top-end premium shoe that Nike produces, particularly for those long marathon and longer runs, longer races. Now, this is supposed to be the training partner, and I think that they're expecting you to buy both shoes. Now, these shoes are not cheap, and that's the other bad thing about this shoe. They're retail for 1,300 Hong Kong dollars, which is about 250 Australian dollars and about 200 US dollars. Now, that is a lot of money. That is quite expensive for these shoes, particularly if you are more of a casual runner, or if you're a runner who might be training for a race as a one-off. And that the cost is going to be prohibitive for a lot of people because they just don't have that kind of investment for a shoe like this. And the next bad thing is the Flyknit. Now, I've heard pros and cons about Flyknit. I really like it because I think it makes quite a snug fit, but I've had people who've had issues with the actual fit itself. They actually make the shoe a bit wider in the forefoot, and particularly if you've got a more narrow foot, you might have too much space in this area. There's some extra support in this mid compartment here, but that mid compartment probably is a bit redundant with that extra support, and I talked about that in my previous review. And there is a bit more stiffness in the heel. Some people have a bit doubts about the durability. Flyknit is generally really durable, really breathable as well, but in the wet may not be so good. And you know, it'd probably be able to last you around the 500 to 600 mile mark before you may see further wear. So when I get up to that kind of level, I'm happy to do another review, but people have had issues with other Nike shoes in the past. Now on to the ugly. This is the really bad things about this shoe. Now, the cost I've already talked about, and I think that this is an expensive shoe, and this is really for runners that are trying to invest extra money into their training shoes. And I think that the cost is too much for these shoes. There's no doubt. I mean, no one's paying, $200-300 for a training shoe, and then on top of that is going to fork out another 450 Australian dollars or 300 plus US dollars for the Alphafly as well. Now that is a lot of money. So for professionals, that's fine. For people that are really serious into running, that's also fine if they're willing to put in that kind of money. But for the more mainstream casual runner, that is a lot of money for you to be buying this shoe in addition to a pair of Alphaflys as well. And it's not something at all that I would recommend to the casual runner if you're going for a 5K or 10K in the fun run or charity categories. If you're more of a walker rather than a runner, these shoes will definitely help you with support for that, but you won't be able to bring out the best of this shoe if you're in that category. Now, the other very ugly thing about this shoe is the support, and some runners have complained of a lot of pain and niggle issues in their foot because of these type of shoes. Now, in the Nike Zoomfly 3s, because they had a carbon plate within them, some runners will experience a lot of foot pain. This has a very similar setup. This has a nylon composite plate inside with a very similar cushioning support and a very similar structure. So if you didn't enjoy running in the Zoomfly 3s, you're probably not going to enjoy running in these shoes either, because they have a very similar geometry and your feet may not be able to be adjusted in this shoe. And I actually have started to experience pain and discomfort in my feet after running about 50 kilometers, and that is because my feet aren't yet used to this shoe, and it may take some time just to get over that, and I will do further kilometers and miles in this shoe to see how things go. But it's really only after about the 40-50 kilometer mark that you may start to feel some discomfort in the shoe just because of the shoe's geometry, and maybe the extra propulsion and things may not actually suit your geometry. And it'd be a real shame if you forked out, $200 US, thousands of Hong Kong dollars for a shoe and end up with that kind of experience, and that's going to be a complete waste of money for you. Hopefully not everyone's going to have that experience, and the way they're marketing this shoe is just so it can give you that extra edge. I think there's no doubt this shoe has the ability to give you the extra edge that is packed full of technology and innovation, but you've got to be buying these shoes with your eyes open, that these shoes also have some limitations and are really not for the everyday runner. So that's my bad and ugly review of the Nike Zoomfly Tempo Next Percents. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and also leave some comments below. I also review other running shoes and running equipment and talk about things running. And as always, go Asian, go runner.